the release of WISH 3.7.06, we added some enhancements to the WISH-PMP, that is the text messaging portal, which some of you subscribe to. You may recall that the prior release of WISH a few months ago was the first release in which we offered the WISH-PMP service. And we've wanted to add some functionality to that feature. So this build actually does in fact contain that. So I'm going to show the changes to the WISH-PMP in this build here. So I'm going to start with the setting up of WISH-PMP. Previously that was included on the system parameters screen, and that has been removed. Because we added some additional functions, we needed a bit more space and decided to relocate the setup for WISH-PMP in its own screen, which is now located at the bottom of the admin functions menu. If I open that up, if you had used this before, you'll see some of the functions that are familiar. We still have the refresh interval set here, and if setting if you want to automatically delete messages after so many days, that's still here. As well, you can still turn on the service log and view the service log here. That is all identical to what was there. What we have done in this build is we've added the potential, or we've started to add the potential rather, to have more than one number. So that's why we have three tabs now. We have a main PMP number, a second, and a third number. These are not quite functional yet, but we're very close to releasing the build in which you can have more than one number to have text arrive in at. We've labeled them second and third here, and you can see that in this particular build of WISH, we've marked that second and third PMP numbers are both marked for future use. Essentially, they're the same setup as the main PMP number here. So a couple different things. We added a name because you could now have more than one number. We thought that you could give it a label. So you could give it a label such as I've done here, shelter text number, or what you might do is you might decide to put the actual text number that it is. It's just a screen label, so whatever you will do. I'm going to revert to what I had put in here as a shelter text number, something like that. Prior versions, the first version we had these two functions where you could track incoming text messages from clients for statistical purposes, and they would be pushed automatically into the calls and walk-in screen, and same thing with outgoing responses from staff. What that meant was that if a client sent you a text message, each time they sent you a text message, it would create a record in the calls and walk-ins, and each time staff responded, it would again create a separate record in the calls and walk-in screen if you populated that. So if you put a code in here, for example, like that, that would cause that to happen. What we've done in this build is we've added a third option. You could use them all, or as I've done here on this screen, I've configured it so that I only want to track that at the end of a conversation. I'm going to show you a little bit more about conversations coming up shortly, but basically the difference is rather than log each time a message comes in from a client and each time staff respond, I may choose to log it just as a conversation, and if that's the case, it will wait until the conversation's ended and then log that as a single record in the call log. As well, if I leave this blank, it will actually use the incoming and outgoing responses to the text message in the conversation. We'll accumulate them all and put them in a single call log. Anyway, we'll talk more about conversations as we go along. And just to reiterate, the second number, if you sign up to have an additional texting number, and a third, this is where you'll set them up. They're identical. Now, another thing that we added to this build of the WISH-PMP is the auto response. So you can actually create a message that gets sent back to the client at the beginning of a conversation. So if a client texts you and it's the beginning of a new conversation with them, you can have it set so that the system will send them a message automatically, such as, "Thank you for your response. We will reply shortly. Remember that if you are in danger, you should dial 911. I didn't finish that here. Dial 911, and that will save that in there. Secondly, you can also have a message that is sent at the end of a conversation, such as what I've got and put in here. Anyway, those are the changes to the setup of the WISH-PMP, and you'll find more in your screen there, but that's essentially changing that. Now, the screen where you would look at the text messages, which is here, that's been altered a little bit as well. So previously we had the ability where you could filter by unread messages, filter by a specific client, so if you wanted to see messages from that client, or you could filter by a specific date, so if you picked a date range like this, it would filter those automatically. Now the thing is, this screen in itself has changed. As soon as before you always had to click one of these choices and then click refresh. You'll notice I don't have to do that any longer, and it just goes back and forth easy enough. The additional function filter we've added here is to view open conversations, and I've yet to show you about a conversation. So basically, the way that works is that when you have a message from a client, if you are responding to it in here, it will always offer you to automatically mark the conversation as complete. So we can say, that is great. Let us know if you need more help. And if I elect to mark that conversation as complete, you notice it will also add in automatically my auto response, and that will mark the conversation as completed. If you don't mark a conversation complete, so if a conversation comes in, it will open up a new conversation and it will stay on the open conversation screen until you reply and check the checkbox as marking it complete. And that is how you would manage conversations. So what's really useful about this is you can watch your conversations that are still open and manage those. Anyway, I hope that you found this video informative and helpful, and definitely get in touch with you if you want more information about the WISH-PMP or have any questions about that. Thank you.